How did you get started in the business?
Well, my career took kind of a winding path. I started industry actually, was a booking agent, worked for a bunch of different record labels, and the internet happened early in my career, and I was able to jump over into a tiny startup that eventually became CNET, which is now CBS Digital. So I was a very early employee there, and saw the explosive growth and was there through the IPO, and so kind of caught the bug for digital really early on, and then took those skills to New York, where I put them to work for various record companies, and ultimately wound up at MTV in the marketing department there, and they sent me to business school. I got an MBA at Columbia. Wow. And when I came out, there was all sorts of opportunity. There were, everybody had startup fever. There was a lot of money going into the startup world, and I had some background and expertise that uniquely positioned me to do some consulting. So I did that. Did a handful of startups along the way. Also jumped into some of my clients' stuff with both feet, as you do. But always came back to the consulting, and for years it was a consulting practice, and that was great. But as you know, with consulting, a lot of times the client sort of thanks you for the advice and writes a nice check, and then they promptly ignore everything you've shared with them. So so that wasn't real fulfilling for me. It was frustrating that they'd call me a year later and say, "Hey, we've got the same problem," and then I would sell them the same piece of advice, and it was like, why don't you just do the thing that I'm telling you to do? So we actually started referring out to service providers to execute the stuff that we were recommending on a strategic level, and eventually that took off, and we built out our own execution team and really pivoted to doing primarily execution. We're still happy to talk strategy with clients, but most of what we do on a day in and day out basis is just do the heavy lifting around digital marketing.